Hey everyone, welcome to episode 4 of my Sonic SatAM episode reviews series. Now, previously I did Heads or Tails and Supersonic and, uh, excuse me, just recently Sonic and Sally. Sorry about that. But now I'm going to review another episode, which, it's kind of a very intriguing episode. Very intriguing. And it's called Sonic Boom. Now, the reason it's a very intriguing episode is because we get introduced to a new character in this episode called Cat. And I guess he's one of the older senior citizen freedom fighters that still can go and everything. But he kind of plays a majority part in this arc, in this story. The reason is because we start out, as usual, as we do in the first season, with the freedom fighters going on these missions to sabotage Robotnik's factories and find out as much information as they can about, you know, about what he's doing, about, how they can help the people and finally regain the freedom. Well, what happens is that Cat, what happens is that Antoine, being himself, accidentally gets him and Cat uh, caught, if you will. But at the same time, before this happens, Sonic and Sally are separated as a team as well. And Sonic and Sally go into one of the hover ships. Where I think where they're trying to find some information out, Sally discovers something from her past, and and what she discovers is the word bean. Now you might say to yourself, well, what does that have to do with her past? Well, when she was a child, that's what her father used to call her. He used to call her Bean. Because she was small and everything. And so Sal, looking more, kind of researching and trying to delve deep into finding where that message came from, finds out that it came from its origin is the Dark Swamp. So, so basically, what happens is that Cat, wanting to help his friends get free so that they can go look into the Dark Swamp, for Sally's father, ends up getting captured. Now Sonic, not wanting to leave a freedom fighter behind, especially someone that's given up their freedom so that they could, take undertake this mission, decides no. I'm gonna go back and go get him, and Sally says, "Oh," and Sally says, well, fine. While you're doing that, I'll take Antron with me, and we'll go to the Dark Swamp." And this is one of those unusual times that you see you see Sally and Antoine team up, and you kind of see that Sally just like everybody's getting a little, uneasy with Antoine, with the way Antoine acts sometimes. I'm doing this episode. There are a few exceptions of that, especially if you've seen the episode, you kind of understand what I'm saying. But anyway, what happens is that Sonic goes back to try to rescue Cat, and he finds out from Cat that Robotnik knows about Sally going to the Dark Swamp. So he tells Sonic, hey, right now, Sally and Antoine's safety is more important than mine. Go save them. Go save them. And, Sonic promises, okay, well, if I do that, I'll be back. I'll be back to free you because Cat's already been captured. He's in prison. So Sonic goes to the Dark Swamp where Sally discovers a few clues while she's there. And before Sonic arrives, she discovers a few clues. For one, she discovers on the floor throughout the fortress there, which it is a fortress, kind of like a prison. She discovers the cloak from her father's robe. The kind of cloak that they wear when they're walking around and greeting people, things like that. And it's also one of the very first times we see Sally cry a little bit, tears coming out of her eyes. But it wouldn't be the last time in this episode. Because as Sonic finally catches up with them, she discovers a computer and kind of gets and is basically corrected about and basically finds out that she's right about the origin of where the message came from, because this computer says the same thing, gives the same name and information that the other one did that the ship's computer did back in Robotropolis. And Sal again has a tear coming out of her eyes, saying that that's definitely from her father, and that even though he's not there in the Dark Swamp and at that prison, that at least she knows he's alive. Now, we wouldn't find out till the second season that he is alive, but he's in the void at that time. Now, after this all takes place, they fall through a trap. After that happens, they fall through the floor, basically a trap, encountered by a robotic kind of an animatronic monster. Get free from that, and then after getting to safety, Sonic goes back to Robotropolis. But instead of going there and freeing Cat and finding and freeing Cat, finds out Cat is gone and obviously been roboticized. So Sonic, as usual, as any freedom fighter does, like Sonic, leaves a personal message saying that that what we just did. Well, he kind of just leaves his own personal touch saying that's for Cat, for what you did to Cat, for his sacrifice, right? So basically, that's what Sonic Boom is. It introduces us to a new character that only lasts for this episode called Cat, who shows basically in what we've seen in real life. Sometimes you have to sacrifice your own freedom for others. And that's a good message in this episode. Basically, what this Cat guy does is he sacrifices his freedom, his life, to protect his friends, to protect Sonic and Sally and Antron from being captured. And we all see that happening nowadays, especially in the Middle East. The soldiers there from our country are sometimes sacrificing their freedom, to save others. So, and that's what this episode was. And it also gives us an indication that the king is alive, but like I said, we don't find out to the second season that he's in the void. Overall, the episode was pretty good. It was an average episode. Like I said, a lot of interesting introductions and hints of things to come. So I'll give it about a 6 out of 10. It's a good viewable episode if you want to watch one. And that's all I can say about Sonic Boom, and that's all for this edition of my SatAM review episode number 4 of Sonic Boom. And I will be back later on, maybe, to do another review of an episode that a lot of people actually enjoy. Till then, this is Brian saying peace out and God bless.